हरि ओम। ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री हिरण्यगर्भाय नमः। ओम श्री महाविष्णवे नमः। ओम श्री महादेवाय नमः। ओम श्री महादुर्गायै नमः। ओम श्री राम रामाय नमः। ओम श्री सद्गुरवे नमः। ओम सहनावतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। ओम समस्त जन कल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं शंकरं शंकराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। शङ्करं परमानन्दं ब्रह्मनिष्ठं यतीश्वरं भाष्यभ्रान्तिहरं वन्दे शुद्धज्ञानैकबोधकम्। ओम नमः शिवाय। 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 नमः पार्वती पतये हर हर महादेव। हरि ओम हरि ओम। We shall chant the dhyana shloka. मौन व्याख्या प्रकटित परब्रह्म तत्त्वं युवानम् वर्षिष्ठान्ते वसदृशिगणैः आवृतं ब्रह्मनिष्ठैः आचार्येन्द्रं करकलितचिन्मुद्रमानन्दरूपं स्वात्मा रामं मुदितवदनं दक्षिणामूर्तिमीढे वटविटपि समीपे भूमिभागे निषण्णं सकलमुनिजनानां ज्ञानदातारमारात् त्रिभुवनगुरुमीशं दक्षिणामूर्तिदेवं जननमरणदुःखच्छेददक्षं नमामि। चित्रं वटतरोर्मूले वृद्धा शिष्या गुरुर्युवा गुरोस्तु मौनं व्याख्यानं शिष्यास्तु छिन्न संशयाः निधये सर्वविद्यानां भिषजे भवरोगिणां गुरवे सर्वलोकानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ नमः प्रणवार्थाय शुद्धज्ञानैकमूर्तये निर्मलाय प्रशान्ताय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। श्री सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। We shall chant the first two shlokas. Vishwam darpana drishyamana nagari tulyam nijantargatam pashyannatmani mayaya bahiribodbhutam yatha nidraya yas sakshat kurute prabodha samaye स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयम् तस्मै श्री गुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्री दक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्र्यचित्रीकृतम् मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यपि महायोगी वयस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये। हरि ओम हरि ओम। We are seeing this most beautiful stotra, Shri Dakshinamurty Stotram by Bhagwan Sri Adi Shankaracharya Ji. After the initial dhyana shlokas, there are these 10 shlokas which convey the gist of the teachings of Advaita Vedanta. So in the first verse, Bhagwan does namaskar to Sri Dakshinamurti Bhagwan, his own teacher, who has realized his own supreme self, which is Advaya, non-dual, in which he sees the entire world. The world is seen in the self alone as the self. So, that supreme Brahma, that supreme self, is the very cause of this world. It is that from where the world comes into existence, the world is sustained, and world get dissolved. So world exists all the time as that supreme self. And from there only it arises like us, like the whole tree exists in a seed, and from the seed it again gets manifested. Similarly, the whole world exists in Brahma, in his own Shakti, in his Maya, and again it gets projected He projects the world like a magician or like a great yogi. So just as a magician makes us see what seems so impossible also. Similarly, Bhagwan, through his magic, through his mysterious power called Maya, makes us see this fantastic world. So, aghatita ghatana patiyasi Maya, that Maya is capable of creating something which seems absolutely impossible. Another example is given of a Mahayogi. So Bhagwan, as a Mahayogi, projects this world, just as Vishwamitra ji had also projected the entire Swargaloka. Similarly, Bhagwan, through his Maya, he projects this entire world within himself. By his own free will, Swechaya. So the Shastras indicate that Brahma teaches us about that Supreme Ishvara through this world. World is the Karya and Brahma is the Karan. So through Karya Karana Sambandha, we are able to comprehend that Brahma. Just as if we want to know the gold, we take help of the ornaments. With the help of the ornaments, we can understand gold. Similarly, with the help of this world, we can understand that Supreme Brahma. And that Brahma has to be then realized as our own self. That is the ultimate, our goal and destination, to realize Brahma as our own self. We have ignorance about our own self from beginningless time, and this ignorance has caused all sorrow, causes all sorrow, pain, suffering. So in order to become free of all this suffering, we have to gain self-knowledge. We have to realize our own self, which is Brahma. But by ourselves, we are unable to recognize ourselves. Because all our faculties which help us to recognize ourselves are corrupted by that avidya. And through this, our own self, our own mind, intellect, senses, we will not be able to comprehend. Because they are totally, total engulfed in avidya. So in order to gain this self-knowledge, we have to approach a teacher. Without the blessings of the teacher, it is not possible to gain self-knowledge. And that is what is now conveyed in the next shloka. Shloka number 3. Let us chant. Yasyeva spuranam sadatmakam satkalparthakam bhasate sakshat tattvam asiti vedavachasa yogodayatyaashritam yas sakshatkaranat bhavenna punaravrittirbhavambho nidhau tasmai shri gurumurtaye namaidam. Shri Dakshinamurtaye. Once more. Yasyeva spuranam sadatmakam satkalparthakam bhasate sakshat tattvam asiti vedavachasa yogodayatya Yas sakshatkaranat bhavenna punaravrittirbhavambho nidhau tasmai Shri Gurumurtaye namaidam Shri Dakshinamurtaye tasmai Shri Gurumurtaye namaidam Shri Dakshinamurtaye Tasmai Shri Gurumurtaye Namaidam Shri Dakshinamurtaye. Bhagwan does namaskar to Shri Dakshinamurti, who is his own teacher. So Gurumurti, Dakshinamurti, my namaskar. And who is Dakshinamurti Bhagwan? He is that Sakshat Brahma, Ishvara. There is no difference between Ishvara, Guru, and Atma. So Ishvara alone is Dakshinamurti, Ishvara alone is our Guru. To that Ishvara, my namaskar. So what is the greatness of Ishvara? Ki yasyeva spuranam sadatmakam. This whole world is the spurana of that Supreme Ishvara, Supreme Brahman. The whole world just is the expression of that Supreme Brahman. That word used here is Puranam. Like a sparkle, like a throb of that Supreme Brahman. Just as a person who is alive, his heart keeps on beating. Similarly, that presence of that Supreme Brahma, his own as though heartbeat, his presence, his expression is this world. So yasya eva spuranam. And what is the nature of this world? Sadatmakam. It is of the nature of Sat. It is essentially true, essentially real. Because it is the expression of that supreme reality alone. Therefore, it cannot be false. Ornaments cannot be false because they are expression of that gold. So gold alone is expressing as the ornaments. So ornaments are also as real as gold. Similarly, the world is expression of that Brahma. So the world is as real as Brahma. So yasya eva spuranam sadatmakam. Therefore, the word used here is sadatmakam. It is of the nature of Sat. Sat is the essential nature of this Brahma. What we see with our eyes, this world, we see the colors, we see forms. Through our ears, we hear the sound. So through our senses, we experience this world as Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, which also constantly change. Everything changes. But the essential nature of everything is that Sat. Therefore, everything, whatever we experience, is always experienced as is. We never experience anything as is not. We experience as is. Because that is the very thing which is expressing as this world. Sat alone is expressing as everything. Therefore, the presence of Sat is there everywhere. That's what Bhagwan Ramana Maharshi Ji also says in his Sat Darshan. Ki Sat Pratyaya Kennu Vihaya Santam Riddesha Chinta Rahito Radakhyah Katham Smaramastamameyamekam Tasya Smitistatra Tadheva Nishtha. Sat Pratyaya Kennu Vihaya Santam. We experience everything as Sat, as is. It cannot be experienced like that without that everything being Sat. That Sat alone is also expressing within us as our own self. So, Yasyeva Spuranam Sadatmakam. The whole world is the Spurana of that Supreme Reality. Spontaneous expression of the Supreme. But when we experience this world, I, the experiencer, when I experience this world, I experience the world as constantly changing. Everything is constantly changing. So that though it is always existing, but it is constantly changing. Yesterday we experienced a world. Today when we got up in the morning and to see the world, it was totally different. Though it looks similar, but it is different. Everything has changed. So it is constantly changing. Therefore, it is of the what is seen is asat. Asat means changing existence, constantly changing. We see the world as changing, though it is essentially the changeless Brahma. And it appears imaginary also. Kalparthakam bhasate. It appears imaginary to us. It appears as though it is in our mind, mental projection. Whatever we experience is experienced with our mind only. The whole world is experienced in the mind. Though we feel it is outside, but we also experience everything in our mind. So I, as the experiencer of the world, experience this world as asat and as imaginary. Kalparthakam bhasate. But whatever it is, the world is sat only. Essentially, it is the real thing. See, let us take one example. There are the same examples which I repeat because these examples are quite deep and takes a lot of time to comprehend them completely. Even the famous example of rope and snake is very, very deep and very interesting, but it is the most misunderstood example. So first we will take another example. Shankaracharya ji gives this example in his Adhyas Bhashya. Shuktika hi rajatavat avabhasate. He says, like a mother of pearl, a shell. If you go to a beach, you see something shining on the sands there, and you feel that, oh, it must be silver because it is shining like silver. You have seen silver before. You know how silver looks, appears like. Silver shines like anything. So when you see a shining object, it triggers your memory. And in your memory, you have the memory of seeing silver, shining silver. So you assume that this object which is there in front of me is silver. That is your assumption. Then you go ahead and try to pick it up. So you pick up that shining object and you look at it closely, turning it around, and you come to know that it is not silver, it is mother of pearl, a shell. So you don't want it, so you just throw it. Then again, when you go at a particular distance and look at it, again it appears like silver only, shining like silver. Now see, this is very important. The mother of pearl shining like silver is the very nature of that mother of pearl. It is the very nature of that mother of pearl to shine like silver. Whether you know it or you don't know it, a person who is ignorant about that mother of pearl or the one who knows it, for both of them it will shine like silver only. Because to shine like silver is the very nature of that object itself. It is not my fault or it is not my speciality. It is not the defect of the person who is observing. It is not the defect of my eyes. Because even if I photograph that object, it will appear like a shining silver. So for the mother of pearl to shine like silver is its very nature. And what my eyes are showing me is also true. But when I see that shining object, my buddhi tells me that it is silver. So my buddhi doesn't have the knowledge of the shell. Buddhi refers to the memory and all and comes to a faulty conclusion that it is silver. So that object in front of me, the shining object in front of me is silver, is a wrong understanding of my buddhi. That wrong understanding of my buddhi is called mithya jnanam, faulty knowledge. What is the faulty knowledge? That it is silver. And where is that silver which is there in my buddhi? It is not there outside. Because outside it is only mother of pearl. So the silver which I have in my buddhi is only in the buddhi. It is not there outside. It doesn't have an external reality. It is just a concept of my mind, of my buddhi. So that knowledge which I have is called mithya jnanam. And the object of that knowledge is mithya, is not there, is asat. That object is not there in front. If this example is understood. Now replace mother of pearl with Brahma, and the shining, silver-like shining nature of that mother of pearl is like this world. So the world is natural expression of Brahma. Therefore the word, what you call for Maya, another word used is Prakriti. Prakriti means nature or natural. Prakriti. So the world is Prakriti of Ishvara. The world is natural expression of Ishvara. Nothing wrong. Everything is fine. So my senses, what they see as this world is true. But my intellect, what it understands about this world, what does it understand? My intellect doesn't know that it is Brahma. So the intellect understands a world which is devoid of Brahma. So that understanding of the world devoid of Brahma, which is there in my intellect, is false, is wrong, is mithya jnanam. And such a world which is there in my head, which is devoid of Brahma, is not there anywhere. It doesn't exist. Is mithya. The imaginary, the world which I am thinking and imagining in my mind, devoid of Brahma, is not there. That world of my buddhi is mithya, is false, is wrong. But the world which I am seeing with my senses, the world which I am touching, smelling, eating, interacting is real, is the Spuranam of Ishvara. So through the study of Vedanta, I have to understand that this world is Brahma. Just as when I mistake the shining object as silver, through investigation, I come to know, oh, this object which is shining like silver is mother of pearl. But even when I come to know that it is mother of pearl, it will continue to shine like silver. Similarly, we have to understand that this world is Brahma, and even after knowing that this world is Brahma, this world will continue to exist. But I will know that it is Brahma. Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma. Same thing has to be understood with that other example of rope and snake also. That a rope is there which appears like a snake. So for the rope to appear like a snake, for a particular rope in a particular situation, to appear like a rope is the very nature of that rope. But to misunderstand that rope to be, that object to be really a snake is my mistake, is my wrong knowledge, which is mithya. And that is so clearly expressed here. Bhagavan says, Ki yasya eva spuranam sadatmakam. The spurana of this Brahma is sadatmakam, is real, is of the nature of Sat. And for the seer, for the experiencer, for me, it also, the Sadatmakam world also appears constantly changing, asat, and kalparthakam, and imaginary. It appears like that, and I take what it appears itself as proper, as real. So that misunderstanding happens about the world. And similar misunderstanding happens about my own self due to avidya. So avidya, ignorance of my own self, and ignorance of this world in front of me causes confusion. That confusion is also, it's not only mithya jnanam, it is also called adhyas. It's called adhyas. So what is the confusion? I not knowing myself, and when I see this body, mind, intellect, and see the activities of body, mind, intellect, mistake these activities to be my activities. So I superimpose the idea of the body, the mind, intellect on my own self. And really speaking, I am of the nature of happiness. When I am totally cut off from everything, I experience happiness. When I am in deep sleep, I experience happiness. Everyone says I slept happily. But when I wake up, I look for that happiness elsewhere, outside, in the objects. So I superimpose my nature on the objects, and I superimpose the nature of those objects on myself. So this superimposition due to ignorance is called adhyas, and it is mutual superimposition, so it is called anyonya adhyas, which is the main cause of all our sorrow and all our problems. Here I am mentioning it briefly, but Shankaracharya ji, in his Adhyas Bhashya, he has explained this Adhyas elaborately. So you can study that Bhashya to understand the secret of Adhyas. Means what is the problem, what is our problem. Then we will know the beauty of the solution. So yasyeva spuranam sadatmakam asatkalparthakam bhasate. So this whole world is the spuranam of that Brahma. So what should I do if I am ignorant about myself, if I am ignorant about this world, if there is so much of confusion in my life, if I don't recognize myself properly? What should I do? I should approach a teacher. In Gita, Bhagavan says, Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. You approach a proper teacher. Proper teacher means one who is from that sampradaya, which begins from Ishvara. Sada Shiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. From this parampara, if we go to some other teacher who is not from this parampara, then we will not gain this Advaita Jnana. We may gain some other confusing philosophies. So that is what is said here. Ki sakshat tattvam asiti veda vachasa yo bodhayati ashritam. Ashritam, one who surrenders to the teacher. We have to actually surrender to a teacher. See, when it comes to learning about worldly things, we can go to many teachers and learn. Every teacher will teach some aspect of it. But if we want to finally gain the knowledge of our own self, we have to approach the Supreme Teacher, the Sadguru, who is from this parampara, and then dedicate ourselves completely to the teacher. That is very important. Without having that 100% dedication to the teacher, we will not be able to comprehend the truth, because it's very subtle. Every time we feel we have understood, then we miss it. If we are asked questions or we are cross-examined and all, we will get confused. Because we have to understand the whole thing properly, comprehensively, without any doubts. We should be able to correlate everything, assimilate everything. So for this we have to approach a teacher and just surrender to the teacher. Ashritam. So here Shankaracharya says, one who has taken the ashray, complete refuge, 100% in the teacher. See, in our life we meet many teachers, and finally we reach a master who reveals the ultimate truth. Our Pujya Gurudev also, he first went to Shivananda Maharaj and he learnt Vedanta from him. But then later on, Pujya Gurudev approached Swami Taponji Maharaj. And he just surrendered to Taponji Maharaj and learned the ultimate teaching from Swami Taponji Maharaj, whom then he considered his Sadguru. So we have to approach our Sadguru and learn. And how does the teacher teach? Sakshat Tat Tvam Asi Veda Vachasa Yo Bodhayatyashritam. See, there are different types of students who approach a teacher. There are those who are highly qualified. Means qualification is this Vivek, Vairagya, Shamdamadi, Shak Sampatti, Mumukshutvam. So one who has all these qualities in full measure, one who has got that intense thirst to know the self, and one who completely surrenders to the teacher, such a highly qualified student, when he approaches the teacher, through the very silence of the teacher also, the student can gain that enlightenment. That's what many rishis they experienced. Chitram vatataror mule vruddha shishya gurur yuva gurostu maunam vyakhyanam shishyastu chinna samshayah mauna vyakhya prakadita parabrahma tattvam yuvanam. So to such advanced seekers, the teacher reveals the truth through silence. But there are those who may not be having those qualifications. They need some guidance, they need some help. So to them, the teacher teaches with Chin Mudra. Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti, Turiya. First, second, third, fourth. You are that fourth. You are that Turiya Brahma, Tat Tvam Asi. But there are those who may not understand the sign language. For them, the teacher teaches by uttering the Mahavakya. Tat Tvam Asi. See, we have vast literature of all these shastras. They are so vast. The Vedas are Ananta. Ananta means vast. So many Upanishads are there. But what is the essential teachings in all these Upanishads that is conveyed in the Mahavakya? And one of the most famous Mahavakya is Tat Tvam Asi. Tat Tvam Asi. This Mahavakya is found in Chandogya Upanishad. There's a very beautiful Upanishad. In one of the chapters of Chandogya Upanishad, there is a story of Nachiketa approaching his own teacher, own father as a teacher. And he requests his father to teach him. Actually, that Nachiketa, when he became 12 years old, his father told him that you should go to some Gurukul and learn. Should not remain uneducated. So Nachiketa went to some Gurukul. He learned from some other teacher, remaining there for 12 years. But when he came back from the ashram, he was very proud of all his learning. He did not become humble. Real knowledge makes a person humble. Vidya dadati vinayam. But Shvetaketu did not gain that humility. He was very proud that I know everything. I know more than even my father. So when his father saw him in this condition, he asked him, did you learn everything from your teacher? He said, yes, I have learned everything. So his father asked him, do you know that knowing which everything becomes known? Have you learned about that from your teacher? Knowing that one thing, everything becomes known. So he was stunned because he had not asked this question nor the teacher had taught him this and he did not know anything. So he said, no, I did not know, I don't know this. So then he knew that his father knows about it. And that I have, even after staying in the ashram, learning all this, I have not really gained the proper knowledge. I have just picked up some words here and there and consider myself as so proud. So that humility came into his antakarana, that I really don't know anything. And my father knows. And I should approach him not as my father, but as my teacher. So he just surrenders to his father and tells him, please request him, please teach me. So his father starts teaching him. Using the example of clay and pot, the father first teaches him about that Brahma, Supreme Brahma, which is the very cause of this world. Because only by knowing that Brahma, everything will become known. Because everything is the effect of that Brahma alone. So when we know the ultimate cause, then everything will be known. So the father taught him about that Brahma through the example of clay and pots, or iron and iron materials, etc. And then finally, and so many things, and finally the teacher told him that you are that Brahma. And before even telling you are that Brahma, the father indicated that from the effect you have to arrive at the cause. From the effect, you should arrive at the cause, and that cause is Sat. Everything goes back to that cause, even when you go to sleep. So the father teaches Nachiketa about deep sleep. He says, when you go to sleep, your senses get withdrawn into your mind. And your mind gets withdrawn into that supreme reality, Sat. You become one with that Sat in that deep sleep. In deep sleep, you are one with that supreme Brahma. That is your real Atma. So that which I indicated to you as Brahma, that you are. You are that. So Tat Tvam Asi. Tat means that Brahma. Tvam Asi. You are that Brahma. You means that Sushupta Atma. You, the Sushupta Atma, is Brahma. Sakshat Tattvam Asi. Iti Veda Vachasa. Yo Bodhayati Ashrita. So when Shvetaketu heard this, he had some doubts and some questions. So he requested his father to teach him again. So again the father, with other example, he taught him and said, Tattvamasi Shvetaketu. Again Shvetaketu, he had some doubt. He asked his father, please teach me again. Again his father, with some other example, taught him. Father told him that, okay, you get the fruit of that banyan tree. So Shvetaketu brought that fruit, He said, open it, what do you see? He says, I can see a lot of seeds. So he says, pick up one seed and break it. What do you see? Nothing. From this nothing only, yes, which you don't see anything, but there is something. From that only this whole tree has come. In the same way, from that Brahma only this whole world has come. That Brahma, you are Tat Tvam Asi. Again, Shwetaketu says, please teach me again. I didn't get it. So Father, so much of compassion. He says, okay. He says, bring some water. Put salt in this water. Then keep it overnight. So next day, he told his son, bring that water and show me the salt. He says, there is no salt, it is all gone. So father said, okay, taste the water from top. How is it salty? Taste the water from the middle of portion. How is it salty? Taste from the bottom. How is it salty? So that salt is present in this water everywhere, though it is not seen. Similarly, that Brahma is present in this whole world, though he is not seen. What I see is colors and form, but in the essence of everything is that Brahma which is present everywhere. That Brahma, you are Tat Tvam Asi Shwetaketu. In this way, the disciple approaches the father again and again and he teaches him. So 9 times he approaches and 9 times the teacher teaches him, saying every time, Tat Tvam Asi, Tat Tvam Asi. So it's the most fascinating portion of Chandogya Upanishad, where this ultimate teaching of Upanishads is conveyed. And that same Mahavakya is used by all enlightened masters to convey this teaching. So, Dakshinamurty, when we surrender to him, he teaches the one who surrenders to him through this Tat Tvam Asi. Sakshat Tat Tvam Asi iti Veda Vachasa, by the words of the Vedas. Yo Bodhayati, he teaches whom? Ashritan, those who surrender. The teacher doesn't go out and teach just like that. But those who approach him, surrenders to him or her, he teaches. And when that enlightened master from this parampara teaches, we will definitely gain that knowledge. We will gain that sakshatkar, direct realization of Aham Brahmasmi. And yet sakshatkaranat bhavenna punaravrittir bhavambo nidau. And when we do this sakshatkar of that Brahma, then what will happen? Then we will become free of this samsara. Means we will not be taking birth in this samsara again. So yet sakshatkaranat, by the sakshatkar of this Aham Brahmasmi teaching, bhavenna punaravritti, there will not be punaravritti, there will not be birth again in this samsara. Bhavambho nidho, in this ocean of samsara, the person will not be born again, will become free, will get enlightenment, will become Brahma. Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namaidam Shri Dakshinamurtaye. To that Guru, Shri Dakshinamurti, my namaskar. It's a most fascinating, beautiful shloka. We will study this little bit more in our next class. Coming Wednesday is Guru Purnima. We are learning here about Guru, the Mahima of Guru, and by the blessings of Guru only, his Purnima, Guru Purnima has also come. So on Wednesday, we will celebrate Guru Purnima. We will have Guru Purnima celebration. I will speak about the Guru Mahima on Wednesday, and we will continue with this class on Friday. So on Wednesday we will have Guru Purnima, same time 12 to 1 on YouTube as well as on Facebook live. So till then, you take care. Be happy, safe, peaceful, healthy. Do your work, do your sadhana. And see you all on Wednesday. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram. 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 Jaya Jaya Ram. Jaya Jaya Ram. Boliye Siyavar Ramchandra Bhagwan ki Jai. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.